Hey everyone, it's Brandon from TopTenGamer.com, and today we're going to take a look at our $1,300 to $1,400 build for the month of February 2014. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is we put together hypothetical builds, and then later on in the year, we'll be putting these together, having made a few changes to them to see what kind of FPS we get in games. That being said, we have a pretty good idea of exactly how well these PCs will do just based on the various benchmarks that we use around the web. You can always find those in the description below. Okay, jumping into processor, we pretty much have the same processor situation that we had with a $1,000 build, in that we're looking at the i5 4670K or the FX 8350 here. There's a little bit of a case here for the i5 4670K. I think it's a slightly stronger CPU when you're using a graphics card that's going to be a little bit more CPU intensive, and for this build, we have a pretty high-end graphics card. If it were me, that's the one I'd go with. It's a little more energy efficient, and I find it to be a little more snappy overall. Both are great overclockers. If you're trying to save some money, you could also go for something like the FX 8320. You could buy a CPU cooler and then overclock it to get some pretty fantastic performance as well. Okay, for graphics card, you kind of have three options. You have a single card at around $500. Right now you can get an EVGA GTX 780. That's a pretty good deal. I did find an R9 290 as low as $500. I'm going to be placing benchmarks up here to the left so you guys can get an idea of what that's going to look like. Overall, you're going to get a little bit more performance out of the R9 290, but it's a very close race. And remember, we're going to have G-Sync coming up. That being said, with Mantle, some of these numbers are also a little bit skewed because you'll get more on a game like Battlefield 4 out of the R9 290. Another option here would be to go with two GTX 760s in SLI. I'm going to be posting here. You can take a look in the description below at a really cool article I read that compared pretty much all of the mid to high range cards in SLI and Crossfire, and in this price range I really like the GTX 760 in SLI for around $500. Okay, in the last video I realized I forgot the RAM. Part of the reason is because I was looking for a really good deal on RAM, but I just didn't find it. And you know, there aren't a ton of really good deals on RAM. For this particular build, we're going to get 8 gigabytes, and you can hope to spend about $10 a gigabyte, right? So around 80 bucks is what you can hope to spend for good RAM. G.Skill Ripjaws is solid here. When I made the last video, there wasn't any within a decent price range. Model F3-1280CL9D-8GBRL is probably my first choice. You could also go with Kingston HyperX, a very solid RAM with a really low RMA rate. Okay, for motherboard, we're going with the same one as the $1,000 build, and that's the Gigabyte Z87 GA-Z87-DS3H. I was looking at an article that was posted on the Linus Tech Tip forums about RMA rates for manufacturers. I'm not sure how much credibility it has, but it kind of showed that Gigabyte, at least in the last little while, has the lowest RMA rates, so something to think about. And I've always found Gigabyte boards to be extremely reliable. I usually go with Gigabyte, Asus, or ASRock boards. Just a matter of opinion. Doesn't mean that there aren't other good boards out there. But anyway, I'll put that link in the description below. You guys can make of it what you may, because again, it's not from a perfect source, but it looks pretty legit in terms of its accuracy. Okay, for power supply, we're going with the CX750M, which is an 80+ certified power supply, bronze rated, and gives you 750 watts, so you have a little room to overclock here. And also you've got the modularity, which will allow you to remove cables. You could also go for in the same price range, for the Seasonic M12-2, which is also another bronze certified PSU. Okay, for case, we kind of have the same options as last time. We have the Corsair Carbide 200R, which is a really good price this month at around $60. If you'd like a windowed version, you can get the 300R version. I think it's like $20 more. Other good cases in this range: Half 912, Cooler Master Elite 430, NZXT Guardian 921RB. Lots of good cases in this price range, but again, Corsair Carbide 200R really jumps out at me as having the most features for the money for this particular month. Okay, hard drive, we're going with the Western Digital WD10 Easy EX. It's a 1 terabyte drive for 60 bucks. and does a pretty fantastic job. I've had several of these and never had any trouble with them. We're going to put a DVD-RW into this particular build, an optical drive. It's the Asus one. It's around $20 usually. Just go with whatever's cheap there. I hardly use mine. In fact, these kind of drives are completely optional at this point, with most people going to direct download services for their games. Moving on, for solid state drive, we've got the Samsung 840 solid state drive. Get the 120 gigabyte version right now. It's on sale for $89.99. Pretty good deal. Put your OS on there. You'll love that. You'll never regret buying that. In fact, I've said it before, if it were me, pretty much at every price point, I'd take away a little bit from my graphics card just to be able to have a solid state drive. Main reason for that is because I use my computer for more than just gaming. I use it for everything else, and a solid state drive gives me way more speed and everything else than a little bit better GPU, a little more FPS would do for me. Moving on from there, we have probably the best liquid kit cooler in terms of price and efficiency in the H100i. It's around $100. Try to find it for that $100 mark. Usually you'll see it for $110, but if you guys can look around and get a good deal, you can find it for around $100. Okay, that's all we have for today. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. I certainly am. I'm always available Monday through Friday on Facebook.com/Top10Gamer. I check that pretty regularly. I've already been able to answer lots of your questions. Hopefully that's been a help to you, and I'll answer as many questions as I can until it becomes too crazy, and then I'll try to at least answer the questions all at once in these videos. Let me know if you'd like me to make a particular video, by the way. I'm always looking for ideas and other things to talk about in terms of gaming hardware, computer hardware, news. You can let me know what you think about anything. I stay pretty well up to date on any news in terms of hardware and gaming, so I'd love to have a conversation with you here or on Facebook. Let me know what you guys like the most. Hopefully you like these kind of videos. If you do, like and subscribe this one. We should see this build within the next couple months. I'm hoping to build them March or April. I'm already starting to get some parts for some of these builds, so I'm going to be doing unboxings of all of those parts and putting them together to see what kind of information we can draw from them. Hope you guys like this. Again, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.